So can you tell us a little bit about what inspired you to take on Saab?
Yeah, so that's a very good question. And of course, a few years back, I guess this would not have been even thinkable. But given the world economic situation, the troubles Saab were in, opportunities presented itself where we from Koenigsegg side saw a possibility to contribute and help out and bring in our knowledge and what we stand for. And we entered into a process with a lot of different parties having the same ambition and ideas, but one thing led to another, and in the end we became the prevailing party to sign the SPA with GM for the takeover of Saab.
What is your vision of Saab and the Koenigsegg Saab in the future? 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, a year down the road?
Right.
What do you see? I mean, what do you want to see? What might be unrealistic? What might be a challenge? What might be an opportunity?
Yes. Well, of course, there are a lot of challenges and there are some opportunities, which is a good thing. And here we are today, we're presenting the new 9.5. Of course, this car we haven't had much influence on because it was already very much in the pipeline. But it is an important car, and it was part of our decision to believe in Saab because we get to drive this car very early on in the process in order to understand how will Saab work in the very near future. And we got very impressed by the car, how it drove, what it looked like, what it felt like. So it gave us confidence that there is a continuation after GM leaves and before we have the chance to influence. So that's important. But apart from that, of course, the coming products that are in pipeline, we have the chance to influence. And of course, all the people at Saab who has been working on them and are still proceeding with it, they have a bigger chance of influencing them as the decision process is much shorter since all decisions are taken in Trollhättan now. So that gives, from my perspective, opportunity as Saab is a niche brand and has to act as a niche brand and create products that reflect the company as it is. It used to be part of this very big organization which focused on volume, of course, which is fine, but it's not didn't necessarily cater to all Saab needs. Of course, Saab being owned by a smaller company like Koenigsegg has its risks, but we have to consider and use the benefits that are there of kind of the fast decision-making possibilities, the possibilities to collaborate with many different suppliers and companies, and we're already seeing that coming into effect. So it's very exciting within this very short time period we've been with the company.
Having the opportunity to visit one of your Koenigsegg dealerships in New York recently, I spoke about, that was a great opportunity to learn about how that relationship works at a dealership level.
Yeah.
Mind you, this is for a CCXR.
Yes.
Low volume vehicle.
Yes.
They tell me the relationship with you is wonderful. They can call you pretty much whenever they want to.
Yes.
Support is there. It's a family environment.
Yes.
How much of that would be transferred to the new Saab from a customer standpoint?
Well, of course, we want to infuse Saab with spirit and kind of make people really look forward to go to work and they feel that they can make a difference. It's basically about empowering people. Saab is, from a Koenigsegg perspective, from a Koenigsegg supercar company perspective, a very large company. But still, it's people, and they're developing cars on a larger scale. So we still think we can get that kind of family feeling going, but it's mostly important to empower people to know they can make a difference and really work together.
So if a customer calls for support, they might not necessarily talk to you on their car 5 years down the road. I mean, they yell to the next partition and say, Christian, can you take care of this? And they hear you and they hear kids in the background and they say, this is the company I want to be part of.
Right.
Who cares about me? Not quite, maybe.
Yeah, well, it depends on how many calls we get.
Okay,
Yes.
Fair enough. Yeah. In terms of, I did mention the dealership earlier. The big question a lot of dealers in the U.S. want to know is, when they signed the wind-down agreements with GM, they're done at the end of the year, and they're checking their mail every day, looking for a letter from you.
Oh, I see.
Because they need to receive that letter before December 31st.
I see.
So they can continue to exist beyond then.
Yes, exactly. What I know about the dealership process is, of course, that it's highly in focus at Saab, and it's very important to set the new dealer network very, very shortly to get it operational. And as GM is exiting, as you say, it has to be restructured. And I'm not personally involved in all those details, but I know it's very high focus at Saab to get it right. So,
do you have a vision of what a retail channel may look like? I mean, I'm guessing you have an ultimate say as to whether, a lot of dealers wonder, well, will I be chosen or will I be chosen? And you're trying to get involved with the Koenigsegg now so that they're on your radar when it comes to choose. Who stays, who goes. They're so scared and they're concerned.
I understand.
And they want to know if you can give them maybe some sort of kind of sentiment or some sort of encouragement.
Yes. I mean, this process of handling the dealers is, of course, done by Saab. And they are the ones having the experience with all these dealers. So we trust them very much in their judgment. Of course, we will be presented with the solutions they see, and we will look into that when that time comes. But we are very much in the hands of the Saab management and their decision-making process there. And I guess what I've understood is that the idea is to make the path shorter from end user to the factory, to streamline that process so it becomes more transparent and more efficient. That's the main focus.
Are there other opportunities that you see in the near future that you think that we will see immediately by the end of the year, and we will recognize that times have changed and Koenigsegg is now behind the wheel? How soon will it take until we recognize that?
I think that will be very much a step-by-step process in small increments, and I guess within a year or so there will be evidence of it product-wise, but of course organizationally it starts happening basically yesterday. Mm-hmm. So,
anything else you can give us in words of encouragement about the Koenigsegg process? Rumor has it that this was many years ago that this started. Can you tell us what's true, what's not, and how,
Yes, I mean, I guess from a personal perspective, my ambition has always been to build cars. That's why I started my car company at 22 years of age, 15, 16 years ago. And that's all I've been doing since then. And then this opportunity presented itself to be able to build cars on a little bit larger scale with a brand that was very dear to me. And we jumped on this opportunity, and here we are today. So the Koenigsegg Group, we consist of entrepreneurs, and if you look at all our track records, whatever we started we still have and continue with and work with to make it prosper. And we have the same ambition with Saab. We have gotten into this because we want to live with Saab and work with Saab for a very long period of time. It's not something we do short term, it's a long-term ambition. And basically we don't do it because it's easy, we do it because it's a challenge, it's a real challenge, and it's a worthwhile challenge where we can make a difference.
So the work continues?
Yes.
Absolutely. Well, thank you very much for your time. I really appreciate it. Is there anything else that you want to share in terms of words of encouragement about what you feel personally? You've mentioned that from a car perspective, this is something that's natural for you. Yeah. Is there anything else that you'd like to see in the future that might not necessarily work or not?
I think if you look back in time, Saab has really had its own unique position within the car world, and that might have been maybe a little bit more unclear over the last few years. We want to make that clear again, that it has its very own unique niche of whatever that stands for, and it's of course traditional Saab values. We also want to infuse and make those values stronger over time to really secure its position in the car world.
Well, I think that wraps it up. That answers the questions here, and we'll go from there.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
Sure.
My name is Bart Eker. I'm a Norwegian designer and entrepreneur, and today we are here and launching the new Saab 9.5.
Can you tell us about what your involvement is and role with the new ownership with Saab?
Yeah, I'm a part of the Koenigsegg Group, which have entered into an MOU agreement with GM, General Motors, to buy all the shares in Saab Automotive in Sweden.
Could you tell us about what your personal interests are with Saab and how your company works together with this ownership agreement?
That could be a very long story, but I mean, everybody, I guess, is dreaming to own a big or a small part of a car factory, so this is really a dream. for me and also Christian and the rest of the Koenigsegg group. And obviously we have a lot of ideas and thoughts about how to bring Saab back to its roots again. And obviously I think that the time with the GM has a lot of positive aspects with it, but that time is now over. So we will re-establish Saab as a separate car manufacturing company.
Wonderful. Could you tell us about what we can expect in the future, what you're thinking about as a part owner? What influence do you have as a part owner? What you want to see?
We want to see new cars coming out. The Saab brand is really a strong brand. That is what we have discovered all over the world, actually. And we think that to a brand like that, we need to create stronger cars. And that goes design-wise, obviously technology-wise, environmental friendly. And if you could bring all that together in sweet spot products, finding maybe new niches, obviously there will be a lot of new markets coming out when the new technology is brought in, and we want to be in the middle of that.
How did you originally get in touch with Saab from when you learned about the company, or historically? Were you young? Did you own a Saab at one point, or have you been involved with it at all?
I'm living in Norway, and I think in many other countries, as Norway is also, special people bought Saab. And so when I think back, I remember that there was a lot of interesting people owning Saab, and I still think there are. So it's a very nice audience to create cars for.
Wonderful. Thank you very much.
Thank you.